All right, welcome back to the cabin build. So we got a few projects this week to show you. We're forming up some triangles that we're going to put along the eave to give us the proper overhang on the roof. And then we got to insulate the roof and then finally put some sheeting on to support the metal, which will be going on in the next video. But just a bunch of little stuff we're going to knock out this week and in preparation for what hopefully will be called drying in. So when the weather comes, and it is coming, at least we'll be able to weather the storms. Alright, so we're just building these tails to go on the eaves of the roof. This should tie in, we'll have the insulation above it, and then it'll tie into the 2x4 supporting that. Anyways, I'll show you how all that works, but now we just got a bunch of these to build and put up. All right, the sun finally came out, so that means it's time to paint the fascia. So I saw somebody else do this trick where you paint the fascia before you put it up because one, it's really high and it's easier to paint on the ground, and two, then you don't have to tape off anything around your roof. So all your edges next to your roof have already been painted, and that makes painting the underside of everything much easier. So we're gonna go ahead and get that painted and then move on to the next step. All right, well, it's that time. We're going to be working on insulating the roof. So we got the sheets of insulation we're going to be laying on here, and it just started getting a little breezy. So it could be interesting to see if any of these blow off. But we're going to be bringing them up, kind of layering them 2 layers deep, trying to offset the seams, and that supposedly gives you the best thermal performance. Over here is where the insulation is going to be coming up. And check this out. We got the material elevator back in action, and even better, we now have a remote. So let's see how this works. That's right, here it comes. So anyways, I'm gonna set up a little time lapse, and we're gonna see if we can lay out some of these sheets and get this roof insulated before the winds pick up too much. Okay, here I am putting on the last sheets along that edge of the roof, and I have to cut out little notches where I've got some 2x4 supports coming out to support the fascia, so it takes a little bit longer here. In just a minute we'll have a picture of the other second layer of foam, and this goes with the shiny side up, and those 2x4s sticking up on the left, those are going to go on top of it to create an air gap so we can get some ventilation. Now the tails of those 2x4s are nailed off to the triangles you saw me putting on earlier along the eaves, and so that adds some support to those and ties everything nicely. And you can see how the air will come up on the eave and travel up through that gap above the foam and then out through the ridge. In this photo here we still have a couple more sheets to tuck underneath the 2x4s, but I wanted to get them on there because it was starting to get windy. Alright, it's time to put up the fascia. And these are 20-foot long boards, so they're pretty awkward to put up, but we again are using the four-wheeler. And we rigged up a winch. We got a little block at the top. Cable comes down, attaches to the fascia. And then we also have the remote. You got the remote, Lucas? Yep. That remote control winch. So we're gonna winch this up. Hopefully with one of us on each end, we can get it lined up perfect. Put a few screws in it and call it good. Alright, that's going to wrap up another week on the cabin build, and we had some amazing progress this week. So we got the roof framing all done, and now we're just sheeting it. So let me show you what that looks like. So you can see here on this side, we got this side all sheeted, all the plywood's up. Well, all of it except for a couple little pieces here because we needed to get to the elevator. But you can see how the system's going to work. So it creates an 1.5 inch air gap beneath the roof deck. So it'll be vented on the eave and at the peak, and that'll let the hot air kind of come up and escape. The reflective material on this foam is going to reflect back the heat. So any heat that is coming radiating through from the roof will get reflected back up and hopefully keep the roof cooler. I mean, this is all theory. I think it'll probably work, but this is kind of what we're going with. Now on this side, over here, we don't have as much of the sheeting on. So we got the first row down, which is probably the hardest. And we still have to do the deck, sheet the deck, but the other half of the deck is sheeted. So, yeah. Just a whole lot of progress this week. Next time we will be finishing the sheeting and putting on the metal. So hopefully, cross our fingers that goes well and the weather holds. Weather's been interesting up here. So it starts out in the morning, there's a heavy frost on everything, so you can't work on the roof because it's frosty. About 10 o'clock, the sun comes out, and then when you're working on this reflective insulation, it's like being in a tanning bed. You just get fried. So anyways, hopefully we wrap up the roof project soon and get moved on to more interior things, maybe siding, windows, things like that. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.